Um, just gonna drop right into that.
next 90 minutes to 2 hours, we're going to take you on a journey through some amazing Warhammer arenas. But let's start with that video that we saw about the Steel Legion and the question, what would Garrett do?
What would Yarrick do? He'd bring back the Steel Legion, of course, and we can confirm today the Armageddon Steel Legion are on their way.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking with the guys from the Warhammer studio earlier today. You can expect to see the Steel Legion within around 2 years. They are not going to be in tomorrow. The Imperium moves monolithically.
Don't need that.
It's this one, right? Cool. Okay, so normally when the preview is starting and the room is filling up and there's thousands of people in the chat, I ask the question, where are people from? And the answer today is I don't have the chat screen open. I went around the room and spoke to people.
I see we've gone with the broken audio this time.
Give us a shout out. There's a guy from Montana over there.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really cool. We've got some amazing reveals for you today, guys. We have some Warhammer 40,000 stuff. We've already seen one thing already. We've got more very soon. We've got some Warhammer Age of
Oh,
Sigmar
we missed
stuff to
something.
show you. We've got some Warhammer Underworld stuff to show you.
Paint.
There is some Middle Earth releases on the way as well. We've got some stuff to show you there. And some stuff for Kill Team as well. So it's an absolutely jam-packed show. Is your mic working yet?
Skeptical.
Until it's working. Everyone just share the mic. Just share the mic in the middle.
Get cozy for a minute. Right, so normally at this part of the show, we'd say, have you done any hobby lately? Eddie, have you done any hobby
I
lately?
have done some hobby. I've been painting Space Wolves because I am playing at Adepticon this weekend.
Is anybody else playing at Adepticon this weekend? Spectacular. Eddie, you come as
Theoretically, I might have wanted to use the YouTube feed.
All brought Space Wolves. We've had about no practice games so far, so if we do get you in the team tournament, just go easy on us.
Show them no mercy. Crush them like the dogs they are.
Friendly game, it'd be great.
Perfect. I also have been doing hobby, and I can't talk about it because it's secret. But you'll have a clue by the end of tonight.
Are you saying it might not be secret by the end of the night then?
Less secret.
Okay,
Very good. So, while we're just beginning, we'll get really into the meat of it in just a minute. We had some news told to us today by the Warhammer community team back home, which is they're making... Have I got a mic now? Yeah!
Stupid. Hold on, I want to check something.
I was saying, the guys back home, the Warhammer community team, have launched a new YouTube channel, which is official Warhammer 40,000. The reason for this is we figured Warhammer 40,000 fans might like all of their Warhammer 40,000 videos, whether that's painting or like previews like we're going to show you. And let's make sure there's one place you can go for all of your Warhammer 40,000 YouTube content. Make sense? Perfect. Is your mic working? So, what's going to happen over the next 90 minutes or so is we're going to show you all these previews we talked about. There's going to be some great videos, some fantastic reveals. We'll get overexcited. We'll talk for slightly too long. And then at the end of the show, everybody who's stayed in the room with us and had this wonderful experience, they're going to go away with something super cool. More on that later. Are we about ready to kick this off?
I guess they're going to give them one of the commemorative figures.
The first thing we're going to do is a tiny bit
Because
of
there's
retrospective.
commemorative edition figures, probably.
To the Warhammer 40,000 universe. You all seen Commissar Yarrick, right? So, any moment he'll appear massively on your screen, but I have a feeling the tech priests are currently applying unguents and...
Hey, don't blame us for it messing up.
have a mic too. Otherwise you have to wrestle over it. Nobody needs to see that. because I've got the mic. He is my personal favourite character in all of Warhammer 40,000. Oh, now that means some... No, still one mic. So
You know what's weird is I think
play,
it's
and I've read the stories of
whenever they're here, they mess up on the microphones.
defense of the Imperium. It really sort of did something to my little wannabe Imperial heart. And so it's been really cool to see the reveal of that model and the return. And this heralds something that we're going to show you in a little more detail as the rest of this preview runs on. Eddie, were you around when Yarrick first debuted?
I played a game and sent in my results through White Dwarf.
Or was this for the Armageddon
Yeah, for the 2000
Third War
Yeah,
campaign?
the Third War for Armageddon. You had a little form at the back of White Dwarf, and you sent in the results.
Nice.
You said how your game went, so I sent in one result.
Is anybody else in here old enough and long in the tooth enough that they participated in the Armageddon Global campaign? Awesome. So, yeah, me too. In fact, I already felt old when it happened, so terrifying. I remember my original Yarrick had like a snippy crab claw. Any snippy crab claw Yarricks in the room? Just me? Yeah, of course there is. Beautiful. Right, so let's get an update from the guys behind. Otherwise, we're going to do this preview via the medium of interpretive dance.
Oh God, not interpretive dance.
My finest Eddie to bring news of the technology. While we fill, I suppose I could just start reading off the list of all the cool stuff we're going to talk to you about, right? It runs for 2 whole pages, guys. This is no joke. Otherwise, it's going to come down to Warhammer trivia. Right? Nobody needs war. You might need Warhammer trivia. Tell you a joke. I couldn't possibly tell you a joke live on air. This would go badly for everybody. What I can do is, sir, you have your hand up. It's very polite. Go on then. Sorry? I didn't hear the question. I'm not answering. Oh, right. Well, there is actually really great lore behind that. And in 15 minutes, we'll tell you about it. And so start speculating amongst yourselves as to what the reason that Yarrick is in fact not dead. It could be that there was some intervention. It could be that the Imperium is in fact not the reliable news information broadcaster that you might think it is. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that the old man of Armageddon could in fact not be dead. I think you can rest assured I'll fill you in, or at least give you a heavy clue. The thing I don't want to do is spoil anything, right? This is quite something, just filling the void. So,
Fill the void.
let's get a sense of guys in the room. I can't really check on the guys in the chat. Who is here to participate in the Warhammer 40k events this weekend? Lovely. Anybody here for Warhammer Age of Sigmar? Now, I met them last year, and I'm hoping to meet them again. Any guys for the Middle-earth strategy battle game? Sweet! You're my people. This is great. You've got some great stuff to see later on in this show. What about things like the Horus Heresy? Warhammer Underworlds? It's quieter, but they're there. What else did we say we were going to show you today? Oh, Kill Team. Any Kill Team players? Beautiful. This is great.
I heard one blood bowl, and they broke the mic. Broke the feed now. They broke the feed. And that's lovely. Now it's gone to black. Whenever they do the live audience ones, they have so much problems. Oh, the video's playing.
It's back to me, which means we might be live. So I'm going to talk about it. Are there any authentic Steel Legion collectors in the room? Nobody. So I have a Steel Legion army. It's even been in White Dwarf back in the day. And so that news is extremely exciting to me. And there's loads of things that I get excited about and wax lyrical about with regards to Steel Legion. Did you see in the concept art that you saw there that they have the carbinized lasguns? So slightly shorter so you can pack more men into a chimera. And then the folding stock. These are the details I love that make the Steel Legion one of my preferred Imperial Guard regiments. So I can live with that. That's pretty dope.
Oh, hey, welcome in, welcome in. That tells me you're not really paying attention and that you're a bot. Have your ban. Because there's no game being played. I didn't know I had a follower goal set. I thought I had a sub goal. Mm.
Soldiers of Armageddon, I will not lie to you. The orc army before us is
Oh, York!
vast. They say we cannot win.
Is
but the
that a
orcs
Daimler Dingo?
I don't know about you, but I am growing tired of proving them wrong. I seek the steel in
And
your
half
heart,
tracks.
the fire in your souls. I tell you now, we can win. We will win. And if that victory costs us our lives, so be it.
Yeah, I figured it was one of the next line of those books.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are returning to Armageddon.
Uh-huh.
Another campaign expansion book for Warhammer 40,000, The Return of Yarick. We're going back to Armageddon, back to the war world for a story of the Imperium versus a huge orc war that is invading.
Armageddon is a place that's had some issues, and the sponsor of the issues that are going on right now is none other than the herald of the Speed War, Wazdaka Guts.
And their audio broke again. They're currently talking about who this guy is. You gotta love when the audio breaks. Can
Travels on his speedwar, he wants a bit of an accelerator, and
I?
here's
Okay,
the
that
stuff.
volume is
Gazgul
really high up,
has
but at
teleporters.
least it's picking it
So
up,
the
sort
deal
of.
is, if he does a good enough job on Armageddon, he gets a boost to carry on his speedwar.
Yeah, so that is on the orc side, but of
And
course
that volume's all the way
there
up.
is some loads of stuff on their way for the Imperium as well. Let's have a look at some of the things that are coming. So, Adam,
Hippogriff.
AFV, what is that?
So the Hippogriff, armored fighting vehicle, as you can see here, is a lightly armored scout tank for the Astra Militarum. These things range ahead of the armored columns, and they're used to like scout terrain, seize objectives, drive
They
through
gave them
the
scout
agricultural
cars.
areas, and they have a multitude of weapons with which they do it.
They
You can
gave
see
them
the
scout
options that
cars.
come with this kit. So obviously you've got a Punisher cannon, you've got a battle cannon, you've got a melter gun. This thing is
Yeah, because it's got
versatile
the
in the armor
3
maneuver
wheels. It's
with
a
and extremely useful for
the
moving fast ahead of what is normally quite a traditional
M6
slow
scout car,
army.
Yeah, so you
M9
can
scout
imagine
car,
packs of
whatever.
these roving ahead of things
It's a
like your
World War II
Eagle
vehicle.
and your Rogel Dawn tanks, outflanking enemy positions and kitted out with whatever fills in the niche that your army needs. If you need to pop tanks, you go melter. If you need to take out troops, you can take some of the anti-troop Punisher cannons, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of those options that you saw are included
They're
in the
making
kit.
me want to
So you can
purchase
choose how
guard
you're going to
stuff
equip
again.
your force to your
Gabriel,
needs.
I need your
As for the second
subscriptions.
new vehicle we saw in that great preview trailer that we saw just now, we also are joined by the Centaur Rapid Strike Vehicle.
So I really like this thing. This is a fast-moving, lightly armored transport vehicle for your Astra Militarum
A
troops.
fast-moving,
It is
lightly armored
just a
transport
beautifully
vehicle.
detailed kit as well. It doesn't replace your Chimera, but it kind of rides into battle alongside them and is a tool in the army of someone trying to put together a mechanized guard army.
Yeah, absolutely. This is giving you some very different options for your Astra Militarum force in that. The way it's going to work is you pack it full of troops, you storm forward to the objective, and then you get out of the way. The Chimera would typically
Wasn't the
sit
Centaur an
alongside you guys and offer
open
lots of suppressive
top
fire. This is purely
Chimera
delivery.
before?
My favorite thing about it is not to do with its rules or even its functionality. Have a look inside that crew compartment. Maybe we can go back and get another look at it. But you've got like fully modeled interior with all the guardsmen that's sitting inside it. This is a beautifully rendered piece.
Yeah, and it's got a
That's
heavy
gonna be a
stubber, so
pill and a half to
it's
paint
not
inside.
Harmless, right?
It can
Yeah,
shoot some
absolutely.
stuff.
There you go. That's that fantastic shot I was talking about. You've got like your Cadians in there riding into battle. I really love this as almost a diorama piece.
I'm gonna be honest, I probably would not put them in
You
there.
can also build it, of course, with the hatch closed and no troops inside it if you wanted to put it into a Death Corps army or a Steel Legion army.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just leave the guys off it, to be honest. Right. We also showed you, and the next thing up is probably my favorite thing in the whole preview. I'm calling it now. This is Commissar Graves. Commissar Graves is a the room like that. Commissar Graves is a member of the High Command for the military operating on Armageddon. She is a stone-cold killer.
Where was that model
cut from
from?
the true mold of the Officio
Or at least that
Perfectus.
character. I'm pretty
And
sure that character
literally
was in
one of the first
something.
things she does in the narrative is replace one of the high-ranking officers with a bolt round.
You can have the character on foot, but she also has the option to come on an armored fighting vehicle.
Yeah, so this is Vigilance. This is her own personal rapid strike vehicle. And this thing oozes like the grim darkness of Warhammer 40,000, right? Gloss black paintwork, armored pulpit, chased in gold. She stands on the back with an enormous personal banner. A bunch of people were trying to work out what all the different patches on the jacket I wore were. Commissar Graves' heraldry is one of those patches. Inside the Vigilance with her, you see her staff of Officio Perfectus officers. This is what she calls her right hand. Her left hand is a power
They
fist,
gave
and
him
her
the
right hand
pointy
is a bunch
helmets.
of executioners which she'll use to enact her will.
I think the thing I really like about it is it's
Stall helm?
to the Fortress of Arrogance.
Oh, absolutely,
So
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Bane blade that Commissar Yarrick traditionally drives around in, this is sort of like a smaller, compact version of that. If you converted yourself up for Fortress of Arrogance, this would look very cool riding to battle alongside it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things here is that the cloth that she's cut from is very different to Yarrick. Yarrick is an inspiring leader at this point, almost like a heralded hero, right? Whereas Commissar Graves is in every way just a stone-cold killer.
Yeah.
Right, we're still not done. Did we see the Adeptus Sororitas character? Here is... The room really likes this one.
Dogmata
Here is
Superior.
Intransia Frey. She is the Dogmata Superior for the Adeptus Sororitas on Armageddon. She's a member of the Order of the Martyred Lady, and she has a big role involved in that high command for the officers that are operating on against the Orc War.
Yeah, we know the Sisters of Battle have played a big part in
The
some
fact
of
that they basically made
battles
another
for Armageddon in the
walking
past.
toilet.
We've seen them in novels and stuff doing some cool battles. This is a really powerful
That
character.
literally
To
is
the
just
Sister of
another
Battle
one of
army.
those.
It's got a few different options there. You can see you've got the helmeted, unhelmeted. It brings quite a lot of firepower to the field. You've got a couple of heavy bolters, a couple of heavy flamers, and then a rack of melter missiles in there as well. So a powerful unit to do damage to pretty much anything, short range, long range, enemy tanks, and fairly tasty in close combat as well.
Yeah, and she also has an Adeptus branded loudspeaker nestled under the missile rack, which is nice.
Yeah, always useful.
For those keeping score, this throne is called the Throne of Blame. You might know the Throne of Judgment. There's at least 2 thrones out there.
There's 3 at least.
Not including the big one on Terra. Right. Next up is, this is a contender for the strangest model in the preview. May we introduce you to Inquisitor Croyle. Who is Inquisitor Croyle, Eddie?
So Inquisitor Croyle is a member of the Ordo Xenos, and he's effectively a big game hunter in Warhammer 40,000. So this guy hunts down exotic and weird enemy characters and monsters. He's come to Armageddon particularly to try and take out some of the Orc warlords and Orc psychers and things.
That helmet's saying a lot.
Rifle. He is mounted on the weirdest looking horse shrimp thing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks even worse with the nose bag off, right?
Yeah. You've got some options in the kit. So you've got a couple of head options for the mount, a couple of head options for the character. In game terms, he's very useful. He is a lone op, fast-moving sniper character. So you can imagine him being very useful for all sorts of things, right? The rifle has got a particularly fun rule where once you've managed to hit an enemy unit with it, the damage on it goes up and up and up across the game.
Yeah, fantastic. His gun is a Jadari Tox cycler for the record, and it's one of the stranger looking guns in Warhammer 40,000, I think it's fair to say.
Judari? Jadari?
It is actually the last of its species. He personally hunted the rest of the species to extinction, but he thought it looked like quite a useful mount, so he kept one of them to ride around on.
They said Jadari. Which one's what group is that one?
Right. Now, where can you learn about all of these characters? Well, we've got a book for you, a slipcase that contains 3. This is Armageddon, The Return of Yarick, and this contains a narrative book, a book with detachments in, and then a book with some new rules for you to use in your game. I want to start with the narrative bit because it's very exciting. This does answer the question someone shouted out from the crowd earlier of how is Yarick not dead, right?
It's a good question.
I'm not going to spoil it entirely, other than to say the Space Wolves have something to do with it.
On the rule side of things there, you've obviously got a whole bunch of new detachments. No surprises, some of those are Orc and Imperial themed. There's also another book in there which is Armored Gauntlet, which is effectively tank and vehicle battles in Warhammer 40,000. Would be very cool, for example, if you wanted a speed war fighting into an Orc, an Imperial tank or mechanized company, something like that.
That sounds fitting for war on the war planet. Yeah, absolutely. And finally, there's a bunch of
An armored company, huh?
detachments book, as one might expect.
There are detachments in the detachment book.
Perfect. All of this comes out alongside each other, so you'll be able to enjoy. Oh, there we go. We've moved on.
A battalion box.
The first place. I got a standing ovation from the Imperium side of the room. The first place that you'll be able to get all of the new Astra Militarum vehicles, so the Hippogriff and the Centaur, is in Armageddon Battalion Astra
I
Militarum,
honestly
which contains all of the models you see.
kind of wish that Rogel Dorn tank wasn't in there and they just threw another half track in.
If you just want a bit of everything, you've got really solid armored core, a couple of those
And the audio broke again.
Rogel Dawn tank, and you've got
Absolutely, and all of those models will be available separately shortly thereafter. But if you want to get your hands on it,
Curious. Is the audio working better over on the YouTube feed?
that's absolutely it. It's not the only battalion that's on its way as well. As you would imagine, there is a lovely new Orc battalion coming.
Nope.
This one has 6 Death Copters in, which are a perennially useful and solid unit. You've got a Death Killer War Trike in there as well, and you've got a Rucker Truck Squig Buggy. This is a box that's effectively designed to accompany Wazdacker. So if you're deciding that you want to do a Speed War, Wazdacker, and this box together give you a really solid start.
fantastic. If you're looking to keep Intransia Frey, the Dogmata Superior Company, there's a new battalion for the Adeptus Sororitas coming.
I apologize,
This
the
is
audio
like an infantry
really
ground
low
pound
all of
army
a
in a very real sense, with quite a sort of a a disciplinarian theme to it. You've got the Repentia, you've got
Oh, goody.
Novitiates, and
A
they're
bunch
back
of
to
more
their paladin
Repentia.
war suits.
Yeah, it's just a
What I
really
needed.
solid, quite a combat-leaning force
Absolutely.
for the Adeptus Sororitas. You've got all the stuff that's really good at chopping people up in close combat, basically. Fits really nicely when Transia Frayne. She's also very competent in combat, so this gives you a really, either a solid start or just a very punchy addition to an Adeptus Sororitas army.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there is one more battalion set. There is, I promise.
One more battalion set
Here we
there is,
go.
I promise.
So,
Death Watch.
when your world is overrun by Xenos, what you need are the Xenos hunters. This is Battalion Death Watch.
Explains why there was an Inquisitor.
Yes, Death Watch is the new Death Watch plastic miniatures that were first available in Kill Team. There are 10 of them in the box, so you get a full-sized squad of Death Watch, and you also have their flyer to transport them around. So just a really solid unit to go and
The
try and
pure
take out
Primaris Death
decapitate
Watch.
enemy units, that sort of thing.
Fantastic, and really very thematic for the narrative that's unfolding here. Now, we are not done in the
Dark
Millennium, but we're going to show you something a little bit different.
Audio's back.
Somewhere in the room, we have some friends from our friends at Weather Workshop, and they've got an amazing video we're going to show you right now.
That audio came back really loud.
And
Once, he was known as Calistarius. Now, after conquering the Black Rage, he is reborn as one of the most formidable psychers in the Imperium of Man. Standing upon the stairs of the Arx Angelicum, we present to you the Chief Librarian of the Blood Angels, the Lord of Death, Mephiston. He is the sole member of the Blood Angels to conquer the Black Rage. Yet beneath that control lies a force capable of devastating wrath. We have depicted Mephiston amidst the battle-damaged environment of the Arx Angelicum, harnessing a powerful psychic attack. His aristocratic features contorted into a rageful expression as psychic energy ripples between his temples and through his psychic hood. In one hand, his four-sword Vitaris
Goody.
crackles with power.
I am
The
Mephiston.
other, psychic energy
It's
gathers,
on a
poised
shelf
to
somewhere.
manifest the Emperor's wrath. Mephiston's resplendent artificer armor, richly adorned with Blood Angel's iconography, has been rendered in exquisite detail by our sculptors. His presence is further elevated through masterful, visceral paint applications, with every surface and texture carefully realized to bring depth, contrast, and gravitas to this defining portrait of the Lord of Death. He is a figure of awe within the Blood Angels chapter. Make him a figure of awe upon your shelf.
Okay. Wait, if that's 1/6 scale and it's only... Okay, I can't really show it on here, but that's... So, Mephiston's only 6 feet tall? What? It doesn't work.
throughout the rest of this weekend, weekend,
Oh, they dropped to one mic
statue
now.
you saw in the video is here. If you want to look at it in person, go and chat to Jules and learn all about it. Pop down to where the Warhammer shop is, and you can see it in the flesh. It is exquisite, so it's well worth a visit. While we're talking about
Those
licensed
guys,
things,
their clothing is
we
done,
have
right?
another
Oh,
officially
no, I
licensed
didn't
product
do that.
I'm pretty excited about because they sent one for me to wear.
Oh, what is that? This is the new White Stars helmet. We've seen a couple of these helmets.
And the audio died. But if you're clever enough, you can repaint that.
Lieutenant Titus helmet, I love it. It fits my head. If anybody wondered, my head is colossal. It's like ridiculously big. And there's room in there. It's not on its like biggest setting, so a lot of people are like, oh, will it fit? Definitely, unless you have like a
Yes, don't commit the travesty of the Master Chief helmet that you couldn't wear.
There we go. You can check these things out.
For those of you that know, you know.
On the Warhammer Community website. Make sure you go and have a look when we're done with the preview and scout it all out. And
I believe that helmet is available to pre-order as of tonight as well.
I think so, yeah. So essentially, if you really like one of these things, you can get your ordering straight away, both the piston and the helmet. Now, we have other exciting news, which is still in the Dark Millennium, and this relates to something coming very soon to Warhammer Plus.
Another series.
Sigma Command, this is Flight Commander Kai.
Welcome to Sigma Nova. The Emperor protects. Where did they come from?
Oh, the air show. Yeah, the Aeronautica one.
This is an all-new animation coming soon to Warhammer Plus, Aeronautica Imperialis. Eddie, what can you say?
Yeah, exactly that. So we knew this animation was on its way. We can tell you a few more things about it today. So it's called Aeronautica
They need to
Imperialis,
upgrade their
as you
stuff
imagine.
a little
These
bit
are
heavier.
Pilots of the Imperial Navy. They are up against the Eldar pilots of Craftworld's Sam Han, and it is effectively an aerial war of attrition across a frozen world. This will be a 3-part animation, much in the style of other Warhammer animations we've had in Warhammer Plus, one of which finished today. If you've not watched Penitence, go and check it out. It's on Warhammer Plus right now.
Yes, you're making them all
This will be a
3-part,
three-part
which makes
and it will
it
explore
so you can
both
cook
the
them out
Imperial Navy,
faster.
And it has a few scenes as well from the Eldar perspective as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now you can see some of the Eldari fighters in it. Well, it's a fighter and 2 bombers, right?
Yeah, that's right. So there's a fighter there, it's Nightwing, and then you've got a couple of Wraith fighters on the side there as well, which will effectively do the bombing runs trying to take out Imperial forces. And then on the other side, you have Imperial Thunderbolt pilots for the most part. There's quite a high attrition rate, I would say, for the Imperial Thunderbolt pilots.
Maybe don't get too attached.
Maybe don't get too attached to any of the characters. This is Kai. She is one of the Imperial pilots, piloting those Thunderbolts into the sorties against the Eldar planes.
Fantastic. And then one of the things, so I've watched the first episode, I really enjoyed it. I'm one of those people that grew up watching sort of those classic sort of air war movies, Iron Eagle, Top Gun, Battle of Britain, and this hits all of the right buttons for me. There's a dogfight in the first episode, which is breathtaking, and you get to meet this guy for the first time as part of it, who's one of the Eldari characters.
Yeah, so this is the kind of lead pilot, I suppose, of the Eldari forces. This is Idraneth, and the Eldar scenes in this show are from his perspective.
How
so
many
a little bit into the mind
Eldar have been named
of the
Idraneth?
Eldar of the craft world. A very, very different perspective from the quite hard done by pilots of the Imperial Navy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives you an insight into things that you never normally see, right? The animations that appear on Warhammer Plus let us delve into corners of the sort of Warhammer universes which are unexplored up to now.
Yeah, and that is coming in May this year, so only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so if you want to watch it, make sure you've got a Warhammer Plus subscription, and then it'll be on the Warhammer TV platform. Perfect. Cool. We are nowhere near done yet. We're still staying in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, but we're going to go and take a look at Kill Team for a minute now.
Spectre Squad. Call sign Jester. The toughest thrown down grunts on the Eastern Fringe. We've fought Tyranids before. They're tough. But they drop if you know where to shoot them.
They kind of look like Tanith.
We were wrong.
That is the Red Terror. The Red Terror now has a new model.
Spectre Squad. Call sign Jester. The
And it's
toughest
repeating.
Right, I'm going to talk as if we're back on air. So this is Kill Team Terror on Devlin, and we'd like to introduce you to the fighting men and women of Spectre Squad, which is a brand new kill team for Kill Team. These are elite scout troops for the Astra Militarum.
Yeah, this is effectively a brand new kill team. This is a kind of stealthy, scouty kill team with lots of kind of fun mechanics to keep yourself hidden before.
And the audio broke again. Oh, the whole feed died. Never mind. That's a different level. Oh, God. They did not put enough sacred oils and unguents on those microphones and other tech pieces. Apply the sacred mallet. At least there's something else going on in my salon. Oh, God. Can only imagine what's being missed while that thing's glitched out like that. Because of how tiny these guys are, I'm not too worried about how well it's done. Okay, there's back to the video feed. They're obsessed with all of those M60 looking guns now. Their obsession with all the heavy stubbers. Aaron Cuddy, a relay beacon. But like I was saying, these guys probably would work well as Tanith. Mm. I wonder if they've even realized their audio died again. That does look like an interesting upgrade to the Red Terror. Because I've seen the original. In fact, a friend of mine owns the original. Oh. Mind you, I missed his curved scythes. Now he just has straight talons. And I guess they kind of made him a millipede type thing because it looks like the legs. He's got limbs all the way down. Yeah, there's even some on the tail. You can see them. They're the little. Because there's the legs right there and there. You got these. You got there's all these little spike legs. So yeah, they're making him kind of more millipede instead of a Ravener on red. Oh, there's some audio.
With a new
Nope, never mind.
called Nemesis Operatives. It uses that same name. And this is how you're going to be able to, in your game of kill teams, tailor your Nemesis Operatives to whatever the opponent you want to fight will be. Here's some more close-ups of the things that are in the box. My favorite guy, top right, which is the recoilless rifle toting heavy gunner.
You've got a little kind of Imperial Governor statue that's been knocked over there as well, which I quite like.
It's not a good time for Imperial
It's really
Governors
not a
right
good
now.
week to be an Imperial Governor. No, absolutely not. But yeah, it all comes in a box together, so you get the Red Terror
It all comes in a box together.
Character Squad.
Because
This is
box set.
box set Terror on Devlin. That
I
also
don't know.
comes with a bunch of gaunts as well that help you play some of those earlier missions. But as well as this box, there is also an expansion book coming, which is called.
These guys have actual shorts on. So move these over, move these over. Give me
The
these
Nemesis
guys.
Operatives dossier,
Give
and
me
as
the
well
red!
as rules for
Nemesis
being able to
Operatives.
play the Red Terror, it also allows you
That's
to
a
do almost any kind of big thing
dreadnought.
that you might want to fight. So if you want, you could hunt down a dreadnought or a Hellbrute or a Carnifex or anything like that. This allows you to play those kind of games.
So
Yeah, and there's different ways to play it as well. One of the
big
examples
guys.
that the book gives is 2 kill teams going up against each other while a Hellbrute and a Redemptor Dreadnought slug it out in the middle of the battlefield. So there's loads of cool opportunities to have some fun. Of course, you'll need some new Nemesis Operatives, so we've got some returning favourites from Blackstone Fortress.
Oh, hey, it's the
So
Zote.
this is the Archivist. He is a Zote. So we last saw him in Blackstone Fortress. We are re-releasing him for use in games of Kill Team. And yeah, you can bring this guy along and
The
have your
Zote is
Kill Team try
back.
and hunt him down. Also coming back from Blackstone Fortress, we have another returning Nemesis Operative, which hopefully we'll get to see in a second.
So the next one up is the Amble.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably the Amble.
A real classic from back in the day, Warhammer.
Yeah, so ambles are common to worlds across the Imperium. They're effectively an invasive predatory
Which interesting,
species.
since that's now
Their
in
prey
Kill
includes
Team.
Humans.
Its
So you
stats are
definitely
not
get
that
bad news
far
if you
away
start an
from
amble
the
colony
regular
on your planet,
game.
but they are exactly the sort of thing that would rampage through the middle of a Kill Team
Theoretically,
board,
could have an army of these
messing up the
fuckers.
battle that you might be trying to have against your opponent.
Fantastic. So that's a whole bunch of great and exciting things for Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. We're going to take a slight diversion away from the 41st millennium and go back about 10,000 years now. And
now look at some upcoming releases which we've got planned for Warhammer.
Horus Heresy. And let's start with, if we can, the Legiones Astartes.
Maybe we can.
There we go. So there we are.
So
Warhammer the Horus
scuffed.
Heresy. And this is a new variant coming soon to the classic Spartan tank. This is the Spartan Prometheus assault tank.
This is basically the tank if you really, really like heavy bolters. We basically put as many heavy bolters as it's possible to put on a Spartan onto the Spartan.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a classic tank with a new armoured variant. The kit will include not just the heavy bolter mounts that you can see there, but it also includes laser destroyers, which is one of my favourite ways of blowing up enemy tanks. Here you can see some detail. The one on the right-hand side, that's the laser destroyer. It's got some extra bits and pieces and is a perfect way to transport your soldiers across the battlefield in relative safety.
Yeah. I think you've got two very different ways of playing this. The laser destroyer is obviously excellent for taking out enemy tanks.
Yep.
The heavy bolters arguably become much more useful in recent months. Obviously, you've got the Mechanicum have joined in a big way to the Horus Heresy. Solar Auxilia are quite common, so the heavy bolter loadout has become much more useful than it maybe was at the start of the Horus Heresy, where you only really fought against Space Marines.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course,
Yeah,
this
but
isn't the
those are
only
heavy
thing that's
bolters.
coming for the Horus Heresy.
They still
There's also
tear into
reinforcements
Space
due for
Marines.
the Solar Auxilia. So here you can see, rendered in plastic for the first time, the Karanite Ogren section.
Yeah, so the Karanite Ogrins are basically like the brawlers and brutes of the Solar Auxilia. If you have a Solar Auxiliary army, you will know that mostly on the battlefields of the
Age of Darkness.
Age of Darkness.
There we go.
You are outclassed basically by Space Marines and Custodies and Demons and all sorts of stuff. So if the enemy reaches your lines, you need a counterpunch. The Ogren section provides that. These are brutal brawler melee units that can run in and with sheer brute force alone go toe-to-toe with some of the gene-enhanced superhumans of that age.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't the only thing for the Solar Auxilia. They're also getting some additional fire support. Here we can see one of the close-ups. They've got a variety of weapons, but they've also got some heavier weapons coming to bolster the Solar Auxilia.
Oh,
You've got
goody.
this is the
They're getting
rapier
the
fire support battery.
rapiers.
Essentially, this is how you tackle enemies you can't see, right? So right now on the screen, oh, there we go. So this is the shooting down variant. It's the classic mole mortar. You can see that guy's clutching canisters that
pounce.
aim equipped with driller-tipped shells for going underground and coming up inside bunkers and trench lines. Then you've also got the bombard, which is
It's kind of
for
funny that
loosing
the
off
rapier is
multiple
now
shots
being
and
used
raining
by
hell down upon the enemy.
guard
Yeah,
units.
both of these really cool
Well,
different ways to
Imperial
shoot
Army
the enemy from far away,
units,
whether they're underground
considering
or there's
it
also
originally
a direct
was a
fire
Marine thing.
version of the rapier on its way as well, which also has a variety of different options. We'll get a shot of that in a second too.
Yeah, so the first kit, it makes either of those support weapons for firing indirectly, either the quad launcher or the mole mortar, and then the direct fire kit contains things for shooting in a straight line. So here we go, the classic heavy bolter setup that you might expect to see on a rapier platform.
It is a good day for fans of heavy bolters.
Yeah, they are living large.
Yeah.
This thing became so useful to the Solar Auxilia because many of the early battles of the Great Crusade era were fought in space in boarding actions. And so there's a fun fact, if you look at the caterpillar tracks on these things, there's like rubberized nubs running between them. That's so that it doesn't skid around on the deck plating of hulls of enemy ships. Yeah. So this kit, as we said, it makes a quad heavy bolter. It also has other options. There's a multi-laser. This is the laser destroyer. So you've got a variety of weapons with which you can equip your rapier platforms and bring battle to the enemy however you see fit.
Yeah, loads of ways of killing the enemy from far away, and also some ogrins to kill them up close.
Perfect, absolutely so. Some of these things, the rules for them you won't find inside your existing Liber books. Fear not, there is a new Journal Tactica on the way.
The Battle of Talon, Part 1, there may be more on the way. Talon, of course, is the most famous tank battle of the Horus Heresy, a tank battle that was so brutal that the scars of it can still be felt 10,000 years later.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can expect this to delve into that epic encounter and really give Horus Heresy fans, of which it seems there's a great many in the room, something to sink their teeth into. There we go. Right. Let's leave Warhammer 40,000 and the Horus Heresy for a little while. We're coming back to them towards the end of the show. And let's go to the Warhammer Underworlds. So, on your screen right now, you can see Thuriel's
Interesting that they skipped
Zephyrite,
the
an all-new
regular
Underworlds
worlds.
warband from the Lumineth Realm Lords.
Yeah, so this is a really fun multi-trick warband with loads of different abilities. You've got some great combat units in there. There's some shooting characters. There's some magic, so it's a real kind of jack-of-all-trades warband. They've got some really fun mechanics. They are built around, effectively, use of the Hurricane Temple. And there is a little character in there, which is the kind of spirit of the wind you can see, just kind of bottom right there. And she's got some kind of fun mechanics in terms of the warband.
So Thuriel is the leader of the warband, kind of like a wind mage, as it were, and Zool is the familiar that you see next to her, kind of like a fox, dog, cat thing. So there you can see him on the screen. There's an interesting mechanic with this warband, which is essentially these warriors, they fight based on sort of feeling the skeins of wind and on the air, and that helps them locate the enemy and then outmaneuver them. And so Zool, when you place it down, it's like a marker, and essentially its proximity gives buffs to the models that are attacking it.
Yeah, it's effectively like the eye of the hurricane wherever it goes.
Absolutely.
And then the units around it get buffs based on their proximity to it. So you can dictate where on the battlefield on the board your units are most effective.
And it continues this lovely trend that Warhammer Underworlds has had of showing like awesome familiars and creatures and stuff as well.
I think everybody likes it when the warbands have a pet.
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favourite model in it. This is an Ara. It's just that classic sort of ranger archetype, and really reminds me of maybe Shadow Warriors from the world that was.
There's definitely a Shadow Warrior vibe about some of these.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So these models will be coming soon to Warhammer Underworlds, and are an exciting thing to maybe change up the meta that we see in the Underworlds tournament scene. That'd be really nice. Very good. We're going to depart now from Warhammer
Change up the
Underworlds,
meta, which means
they
very
near and dear to
overpowered those
as
rules.
A staunch fan of Middle Earth. Let's go and let's look at some things coming out for the Middle Earth strategy battle game. So this is the first of the releases that we'll talk about. These are the Hill Tribesmen Commanders, inspired by the Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim movie, the animated film that we saw at the cinema a few years ago. I loved it, and it's great to see these guys making it onto the tabletop. We've already got the Hill Tribesmen. as warriors. So this gives you some additional commanders for your force. You've got the chieftain on the
Ironically,
left.
since
You've got a standard
there's
bearer
now
and a
the
hornblower.
plans
There's
for
an additional option contained within this kit which will be very useful for your
Stephen
force.
Colbert
If you look at
making
the
the
right-hand
next
side of the screen, this guy
Lord
is
of
a
the
variant
Rings
and essentially
stuff. There's
allows
going
you
to be
to
more
build
Lord of the Rings
the
things they can
chieftain
add to
instead as an
Middle Earth
oathmaker
strategy
from
game.
that scene in the Two Towers in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, where Saruman and the Wild Men make their compact to attack Rohan together.
Yeah. You've also got some options on the chieftain in that box as
absolutely.
well. The
So,
chieftain can have a two-handed weapon,
means that
or he can
game
have
is
a
going
hand
to get
weapon
more
and
stuff.
a shield, or you can build him as
Not
the
that I'm
oathmaker as
directly
well.
playing it
some,
at any
some great
time,
options
but
to choose
that's
from.
kind of
Yeah,
nice
and as
to
you can
know.
see, like the Middle Earth team have just continued to lavish the detail and attention that the range deserves onto these models. These are fantastic leaders and extra helpers for your army.
Did I not pull out the
I
dark
play quite a lot
brown?
on the Middle Earth tournament scene, and it's quite interesting to see how the Hill tribes.
Oh no, wait,
set
that's
up
right. I
that
was going to
meta.
use.
It's not a bad army by any means, although they take a lot of casualties. Who are they fighting against? Well, the Hill tribesmen's traditional enemy is obviously the Rohirrim. And so first of all, we have new Warriors of Rohan commanders. This is a command set that features a captain, a standard bearer, and a hornblower, classic staples to lead your warriors in their war bands into battle.
Yeah, so this is a
Come on,
really lovely
open up. There
multi-part
it
kit.
goes.
There's some cool options to call out on this that aren't immediately apparent. The biggest ones are on the chieftain, so the captain. So you have a choice of heads. So you can have either an armored kind of head, as you can see there. There's also an unhelmeted head if you just want him to have. If you wanted to have two characters in your army, for example, you could have
There
both.
you go.
That's the unhelmeted one. You've also got a choice on the captain of different chest plates. So you can either have this kind of leather armored one that looks quite similar to the Warriors of Rohan. There's also a heavily armored one, which you can see there, which fits in really nicely if you've gone for like a Royal Guard heavy Riders of Rohan force, which are quite a popular unit, or if you just want to have two in your army and them look different.
Yeah, absolutely. And a fantastic new plastic addition to the Rohan force. Perhaps the most anticipated kit for Rohan, been desired for a long time, is a redo of the now quarter-century-old Riders of Rohan. These are one of the most iconic units that you see in all of the Lord of the Rings movies.
They are
That unit
absolute
was
scene stealers, aren't they, in the Lord of the Rings movies?
25
Every
years
time they
old,
show up,
really?
it's awesome. This is a very venerable kit getting an update. The original Riders of Rohan, of course, came out alongside the original trilogy 25 years ago. So these are well due an update. The horses are amazing. I really like the armored helmets on these.
Yep.
Riders of Rohan, of course, are very well equipped warriors. Every single one of them comes with a shield, a hand weapon, a bow. You've also got the option in there to give them throwing weapons as well. Just a really cool, dynamic looking unit.
Yeah, if you're keeping track, the guys who play the Middle Earth strategy battle game will want to know. All of the hand weapons can be exchanged, where you see them holding the axes and the swords and the throwing spears. They can either be hand weapons or they can be throwing spears. So it's a versatile unit. I recommend the throwing spears for the record. So really a long-awaited and much anticipated kit for Rohan, and it's just beautiful to see them rendered. I've got a Rohan army. I've put some of these new ones alongside it, and they also go really nicely together. So if what your thing is collecting all the models and having your force
said
look beautiful
Rohan.
on the shelf in your cabinet, these are going to blend in beautifully.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Rohan, right, is that they're not standardized completely, so you
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
mix kind of the older ones with the new ones. These ones could just be the slightly fancier ones with the cool horse helmets. Of course, if you want to, you can just have a whole army of the new ones. That's also fine.
Fantastic. Now, that's our time in Middle Earth done, and it was lovely to be there for a little while, but it's time to go onwards as we continue on our preview. We're going to go now from Middle Earth to the Mortal Realms.
Our enemies think us
Check
weak.
this out.
So AOS.
We will dissuade them of that notion. We shall not cower behind our walls. We are the wall. We will march out, reclaim the lost realms. Our enemies
giants?
will break upon our shields. And by courage and steel, we will drive them back to whatever foul pit once spawned them. Our enemies
The
think
cities
us weak.
again.
This is a fantastic addition to the Cities of Sigmar range. Loads of things to talk about. We saw them briefly on the screen. Let's delve into them in some more detail. First up are the Free Guild Grenadiers. Eddie?
Yeah, so Free Guild Grenadiers are effectively your hard-working, all-purpose elite infantry for the Free Guild. They come with great combat stats. They come with shooting abilities. They've got grenades. There's a flamethrower in the unit. There's a blunderbuss in the unit. They are just a really useful unit in game. In lore terms, they've got some really interesting things about how they're chosen from amongst the
How
free guilds.
would they have
absolutely.
a
Essentially, the free
flamethrower?
guilds recruit the brawniest, the sturdiest, the biggest and toughest warriors from amongst their number, and then train them to be the grenadiers. These are the breachers. You know, when you create a breach in an enemy fortress, or you need to sweep the foe out of a city, these are the ones you send in, and they've got like the build and the tools for the job.
Yeah, these are like your close combat, down and dirty fighters. If you need to kind of cleanse an undead infestation from a mausoleum or something, these are the people you send in. Every single one of these models is really fun and dynamic as well. You can see them being like the kind of logical extension of the steel helms, but even more sort of brutal, equipped for whatever the situation demands of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can see people converting these over.
They are, however, not the only new unit that we saw in that preview, and they're not the only elite unit for that matter. We also saw for the first time the Free Guild Gallants, which I think we can go to now. So these are like foot knights for the Cities of Sigmar, right?
Yeah, so we've already seen a unit of knights on horses. These are the infantry equivalent. They are the best defensive unit effectively in the Cities of Sigmar. They can take a charge incredibly well.
Okay,
Each one of them is effectively an iconic hero for the Cities of Sigmar. They not only fight very well, but they inspire the troops around them to fight better. The miniatures are phenomenally cool.
Yeah,
there are like loads of different cool helmet designs and shield designs and weird little creatures that go on the base and weapons and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, if you get a kick out of like unusual armor types, they've got like my favorite helmet of all time is the completely anachronistic visored barboot, which you've got here. We saw a hound skull on the last guy. You can interchange the heads and lots of the arms and things, so you can make this unit entirely your own and oozing in character and charm, right?
You can also mix quite a lot of the parts in this kit.
Kind of interesting. They said that they can mix the
So with the
parts.
Cavaliers, so if you've got some like spare helmets and stuff, or you just want
Kind of makes me
loads
wonder
of
how
knights, you
they're
can mix and swap
connected,
and change
because
and make some really unique
they've been
things.
moving
So
away
it's a
from
lovely kit
mixed
to play, and the miniatures
parts
look
like
great.
that.
It's a great unit in the game as well.
Fantastic. We also saw some new hero models for the
There's
Cities of Sigmar.
so many new
So
heroes.
this guy is Jorvan Creel. He's the survivor of Embergard, is it?
Anvilgard.
Anvilgard, there we go. And he's kind of like a ranger archetype, right?
Yeah, so he is
With
a
a panther.
survivor of a city that's been taken over by the forces of Marathi Kane. So he has blood vengeance, basically, against the Daughters of Kane. But right now he is engaged in driving back the Skaven infestations of the mortal realms in the Realm of Fire. He is accompanied into battle by an Ash Panther, and he is effectively a really solid, dependable, mid-range skirmish hero for the Cities of Sigmar.
Fantastic. And he's still not the only hero that we saw. Next up is the Malice Forge Priest, a classic take on that warrior priest archetype from the world that was. Sigmar is like a smith god, and here he is, his priest with an enormous hammer.
Yeah, so I mean, the warrior priest archetype is such a cool piece of Warhammer lore, and it's great to see that kind of coming through in Warhammer Age of Sigmar now. There's a couple of options in there as well. You've got a choice of heads, so you can either go with the classic bald warrior priest,
Yeah, my hairstyle.
or you can have the kind of slightly mad-looking monk look.
Yep.
And of course, he comes with an enormous Warhammer. This game's called Warhammer. Warhammer's got to be
It
pretty
makes
good,
perfect sense, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. There was also a trio of wizards that we saw like teased in that. First up is an Axion Pyrocaster. This is your classic fire wizard. Has some really interesting rules in the game. Essentially, once she targets a unit with a spell, that unit gains a characteristic, which essentially means that it's
Incandescent.
it's starting to smolder, and subsequent targeting of the same unit is even more dramatic. I think it adds D3 mortal wounds each time.
Yeah, the miniature is just really, really cool as well. Like you can see it looks like a treat to paint, right? I can imagine some of these appearing at future Golden Demons and things like that.
And crazy though this one is, it is not even nearly the craziest looking wizard in this
it's not even
update
top
for this.
two. It's not
Exactly.
even top two.
Next up, we'd like to introduce you to the Amethyst Nell Mage.
So this is a wizard who uses the power of Shaiish, the power of death. You can see them replete with various symbols of the realm of death. They have a scythe, there's loads of skulls, they have a weird candle. They have a bell on their head and two weird mechanical skeletons that hit the bell at regular intervals. And there's even a version where you can lift up the visor, and that's what it looks like if you get hit in the head by two mechanical skeletons all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. This is sort of grim darkness writ large, isn't it? With the strangest, most odd helmet. I love everything about it. The hourglass
really
in the
fun.
side, just everything about this is amazing.
Still not the
It's
weirdest
still not
wizard.
might be the weirdest wizard, absolutely. Next up, we have Erasmus Zon, the Enlightened One.
So Erasmus Zon is an inhabitant
wizards are
of
weird.
Settler's Gain, which is a twin Lumineth and Cities of Sigmar city. He is one of the first graduates of a program set up by the Lumineth to try and teach mortal followers the ways of Haish, to enlighten them into the ways of the Lumineth. He has been so successful in that he's actually surpassed the magical ability of some of his trainers. So the Lumineth are maybe not super keen on quite how well he's taken to light magic, but he is a very powerful spellcaster. The wizard obviously does all of those things, but the thing you notice
I'd like
about
to talk
it
about his
is
mount,
that
right?
really weird mount.
Yeah, so that is a heliomorph. If you've ever seen one of them before, then you're a better person than I am. It's called Glyphwing, and it is the uncanny combination of a ram, a griff, and it has a snake for a tail.
Yeah, it's basically what happens if you when you're choosing your mount, you tick every box.
Absolutely.
And it generates
Hi,
that.
something from D&D.
It's a really, really fun character, and it fills out another one of those winds of magic that are now accessible
Yeah,
to...
the colleges are
you've
really...
got 4 of them now, I think, out of the possible colleges, which is
Absolutely.
pretty cool.
Now, we also saw in this the Gate Gargants, which are fantastic new kit for the Cities of Sigmar. There's a way that the Cities of Sigmar fight, right? They advance like a moving castle as the Dawnbringer Crusades go out into the mortal realms.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the walls of your castle are made up by your steel helms and your fusiliers. These guys are the Barbican, the gate. So they take the charge of the enemy. Enemies smash against those enormous doors. Once the enemy's broken upon them, they part the gates and open up, and your gallants and your steel helms charge out into the middle of the enemy. They sally forth. This is just a really weird, fun, bonkers unit for the Mortal Realms. They fight very well as well. Those are Gargant-level stat lines in combat, and on the back of them they also have that enormous cannon which can make a mess of enemy units at range. So really characterful and interesting unit for Cities of Sigmar.
Fantastic. So we also saw, as well as these, a new kit which is known as Dawners Triumph. This is kind of like a floating memorial for the warriors of the Cities of Sigmar as they travel across the mortal realms and launch their crusade. And it's kind of a remembrance of all of the fighters that have given their lives as part of this campaign, right?
That's right, yeah. So when they set out on a crusade from one of the major cities, every member of the Dawnbringer Crusades will be given a coin malleus. Those are the coins that you see sprinkled across the bottom of that memorial there. Those are basically the coins of the warriors who've given their lives for the crusade. When they finally reach their destination and start a city, you can imagine that this memorial will form an iconic part of that city somewhere in the landscape. So this is a memorial they take with them. In game terms, it offers you buffs to units around it, so they fight harder in its
Gonna be honest, I didn't expect that
absolutely.
thing to come into it
There's
being an
also,
actual model,
for the
considering
Cities of
it's
Sigmar,
in a couple
new
of their
Regiment of Renown
books.
on the way. This is Vendenst's Hound. Vendenst are famous for hunting down sort of the esoteric enemies of the Cities of Sigmar, so maybe they're hunting down the Soul-Blight Gravelords or demons or other things.
Yeah, so you can add this effectively into other Order armies.
Yep.
So if you're going up against demons, undead, enemy wizards, that sort of thing, these guys have the tools to take it down, to track their enemy, bring them to heel, and then put a stake through their heart.
Yeah, and they're accompanied into battle by the units of the Wildercore Hunters, so the perfect accompaniment to scout out the enemy, to locate them and maybe sort of keep them in place with the missile fire. That's a lot of stuff for the Cities of Sigmar, right? We are not done yet. Do you want to see some more? Let's show you the next video.
Aye, we persist in an age of monsters. And there are foes that faith and valor alone cannot best. For such enemies, Sigmar again provides. Take heart, warriors of the God King! You fight in the shadow of behemoths. The cogforts of the Iron World march with us. With cannon and flame, we will drive back the enemies of Sigmar. With such engines of war at our side, how can mere monsters stand against us?
Here we have, the crowd has gone wild in the room. Here we have a fantastic new centerpiece model for the Cities of Sigmar armies. These are the cog forts, and right now on your screen, you have the Cannonade cog fort.
I love this model so much. It is such a cool addition. I think people who've collected Cities of Sigmar have basically been waiting for this kit since it was hinted at in some of the early battle tomes of the edition. It is finally here in glorious plastic, and it is well worth waiting for. There's so much to talk about in this kit.
Yeah, we've seen this hinted at in some of the artwork and stories, and even in the background of one of the scenes in an animation. This is the Cannonade cog fort. It's the first one we'll talk about. Essentially, it is a walking fortress equipped with 2 massive cannons. It's got point defense guns. It's powered by a Duardin forged boiler you can see on the left. This is everything you want to carry the Crusade of Sigmar into the mortal realms.
Yeah, this is the shooty version of the cog fort, right? So the gun on the back is called a Godbreaker cannon. It is very, very good at killing almost anything. One of the cool things about it is that when you shoot it, you get to choose a different type of ammunition each time you fire. So if you're shooting at something that's got a ward save, something that's very tough, or something that is lots of things in a unit, you've got different abilities based on what you shoot at. It is a monstrously powerful thing. It is probably the most dangerous ranged war machine
Gotta like
in
the
the game.
concept
Absolutely.
of a moving
and
castle.
it's not the only cog fort that this kit makes. We also have the option for the Conqueror cog fort. This is a different proposition entirely. It is equipped with a Realm Scorcher cannon.
I was about
It
to
is
say,
an
that's a
enormous
giant
flamethrower.
flamethrower.
Yeah, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. It kicks out 66 shots when it fires, which is phenomenally good for Age of Sigmar. The other thing that's got in its belly, instead of a cannon, you effectively have a drawbridge and sally port. You can transport a unit inside the cog fort and then charge out of the front of it into combat. So once you've broken the back of the enemy forces with your shooting, you can then charge into the still on
It's
fire
a
enemy with your
monolith.
gallants or your grenadiers or something like that and kill anything that's left.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at some of the details of these kits. So here you can see some of the things we've talked about. The first one would be in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can see now what the interior looks like if you lift off that roof.
Yeah, so there's so much detail in this kit. Before I was talking about the different types of ammunition you can fire. You can see the different types of ammunition stacked up behind the gunners. So it's almost like a mini diorama inside the kit. You can also see the sally port and drawbridge down if you want to. You can roll it out of the kit. So you can imagine the troops charging down the front there into the enemy lines.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite detail you'll actually see on the very left of the screen, and this is the Duardin forged furnace that powers the entire cog fort. And there's an interesting clue to a piece of story about it. You can see sandbags hanging on the side. This is the most valuable and important part. These are forged by the Ironworld Arsenal.
That's true.
If everything's going wrong, they'll launch a hot air balloon device out of the top, power it by the furnace, detach it from the cog fort and fly it away, because that's the bit you have to save.
Yeah, the engine basically of the cog fort is the valuable part. That's what the enemy's trying to get to. There's some other cool stuff that we can tell you about cog forts as well, if we can jump to the next slide.
So this is, the first thing is, you might like to include a cog fort in your Cities of Sigmar army, but what if you just really like the cog forts?
That's a great question, Adam. You can have an army of renown that is entirely made up of cog forts.
So they're
It
knights.
is called the Iron March, and effectively it does a few things. So first of all, it gives you a bunch of extra rules if you really just like cog forts and you want to just have lots of them. The other thing that it does is unlocks 2 more types of cog fort you can build in your force. So the basic kit is either 2 cannons or a flamethrower and the sally port. In the Iron March, you can swap the tops over basically. So you can have 1 cannon, 1 flamer, or you can have the cannon and the sally port. The only other unit you can include in this army is the Free Guild Gallants, which basically give you a way to have something inside the Conqueror cog fort to charge out the front.
And a Malice Forge priest to make sure they're working all right.
Yeah, just to hit them before the battle starts.
Beautiful. What if you really like cog forts and you don't have a Cities of Sigmar army, Eddie?
That's also a great question, Adam. Well, there is a regiment of renown in the Cities of Sigmar battle tome, which allows you to take a cog fort in any Age of Sigmar army. There are cog forts in the realms who have decided basically to go privateer. They've gone and become soldiers of fortune across the mortal realms, selling their services to the highest
they're
bidder.
knights.
There are some cog forts whose occupants have given into the sway of chaos. There may be some cog forts who the
Imperial
occupants
Knights.
have died and been resurrected by dark forces of the realm of death, or been paid to work in mercenary armies for destruction. So if you just want to include a cool cogfort in your army, you absolutely can. And it also opens up some great opportunities for conversions. I can already imagine people doing weird undeath or destruction or chaos cogforts.
Absolutely. So this really is an incredible centerpiece thing for your Cities of Sigmar army. The rules for it and everything you need to know, all the lore and everything behind it, will be included in the forthcoming Order Battle Tome, Cities of Sigmar, which is everything you need to be using these in your games of Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, all the stuff you would normally expect in a Battle Tome is in there as well, but it's not the only thing on its way for Age of Sigmar.
There is a new spearhead box. This is City of Ash, and it includes 2 forces.
Oh goody, more Skaven.
I feel like the room has picked up on one. I'll very briefly explain. The first place you'll be able to get your hands on the Grenadiers, the Gallants, the Malice Forge Priest, and Mr.
Skaven
Creel
up on a giant
is inside
pile
this
of
box.
crap.
Let's talk about the other things we can see on the screen.
Yeah, up against him is a long-anticipated expansion for the forces of Clans Eshin. The last time we had a sizable release for Clans Eshin was wartime, basically.
Half my life ago.
Yeah, a really long time ago. So they've been well overdue for some updates, and the updates are phenomenally cool. So let's go through what you've got. You get some Night Runners.
They're like the lowest rung in the Clans Eshin.
They are
right?
the bottom rung of your Clans Eshin, but still very useful little sneaky scouter unit to run around, throw in shuriken and stabbing enemies in the back. The next unit you have up are the Gutter Runners. They are also in this box. Gutter Runners are the kind of mid-tier, I suppose, of the Clans Eshin. They are, they've gone through the ranks. They were Night Runners, then they've graduated to Gutter Runners. There's some really characterful, fun little models in this. You've got some with poison weapons, some with the classic kind of double-bladed punch daggers, and all of the Gutter Runners have got that slightly longer, shadowy cloak on them as well.
Yeah,
really
absolutely. Cool. Obviously, somebody needs to lead this spearhead. This is a model you'll be familiar with if you follow the Skaven in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This is a Deathmaster. He is lovely. We've seen him before. Would you like to see another Deathmaster? Then may we introduce you to Deathmaster Crixit.
So, Deathmaster Crixit is probably the most notorious of all the Deathmasters currently working in Skavenblight.
Isn't that one of
He
the
is so
13?
confident in his abilities as an assassin that he's made his identity public, which is almost unheard of for a Deathmaster. He has slain many rivals and many enemy heroes. In game terms, he is an absolute blender of a character, like more than, I think 13 attacks, something like that, like a ludicrous number of attacks.
13 would be the right
I
number,
think it's
right?
13. I hope it's 13. He is very, very good, as you would imagine, at killing enemy heroes, but such a good character, he can basically blend through almost any small unit.
And the way that they've rendered this character, they captured the sort of, almost it looks like his cloak is made of smoke as it sort of
Maybe it
drifts
is.
down
There's
around him.
certainly a little bit of Olgian magic there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And he stood on sort of crumbling bits of some building, and that's a useful segue into one of the other things that this kit includes, which is some fantastic terrain for you to play your games around.
Yeah, so this box set, City of Ash, is actually set in Embergard. Embergard was the location of the Warhammer Plus animation that we had last year. That animation is effectively the sequel to this box set. Embergard was a quite prosperous city of Sigmar. It is now basically in ruins after the events of the Skaventide. But one of the things you get in the box is lots of these cool ruined buildings. You also get a bunch of very cool scatter terrain as well. So it gives you a very cool new way to play Spearhead. The box will also, the terrain will also be available separately.
It's just
So
three
if you
pieces.
just like
Never
the
mind.
idea of a battlefield that looks like a built-up area in Age of Sigmar, this gives you a chance to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Here you can see everything that is included within Spearhead City of Ash. So you've got all of the models, the terrain, the cards and things you need to start playing Spearhead. This is a great way in if you haven't played
Interesting that it has that
Warhammer
footprint
Age of
there
Sigmar
on the
Spearhead
cardboard,
before.
though.
And frankly, if you already have and you just want 2 great new Spearheads, it's the perfect lunchtime game.
It's a self-contained box as well, so even if you've never played Age of Sigmar before, this actually gives you everything you need to start playing. And 2 really, really cool anticipated armies as well. Like Eshin, players have been looking forward to this for a really long time. New Cities of Sigmar stuff, this is a great way to pick up a few of those new units as well. So whether you kind of keep it all for yourself or split it with a friend, this is a great box.
Absolutely. So,
All the
that
knuckles.
was a whistle-stop tour through the mortal realms as we got excited about Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We are still not done. We are
I'm
going to
guessing
return
old world.
back to the grim darkness
Oh,
of the 41st
4K again.
millennium. We have a really exciting video to show you now. Let's go back to
Battlefleet Gothic? No. probably the edition announcement.
Armageddon, the war world. Its soil is worthless, salted by the blood and sweat of generations. War is all that remains. It rises from the dust and echoes in the sky, a promise, a cacophony of endings. Sanguinius' sons, angels of death. We belong here. Our veins burn with his wrath. Our twin hearts hammer with his rage. War is all that we know. This world must hold. There can be no retreat. There can be no mercy. There can be no peace. There is only war.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new cinematic trailer for a new edition of Warhammer 40,000. Did you like what you saw? Let's talk about it for just a minute, because I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, we saw some very, very cool stuff in there. Obviously, there's some Blood Angels in there, there's some Orcs. We're going back to Armageddon, very cool location. There were some units we've maybe not seen before. That new big Orc Walker, I don't think we'd ever seen one of those.
Yeah, absolutely, and a classic returning unit, slightly redesigned in a land speeder that, like, very familiar for those classic land speeder fans.
That looked a little bit like Vanguard veterans to me as well.
Absolutely so.
Bit, maybe.
Yeah. So there's a lot to like in that trailer. My favourite moment was, I think for many people might agree, when the chaplain really gets in amongst it.
I think my favourite moment is when the Orc Psyker just kind of vomited across everybody. That was
and
good.
then he takes a Croesus to the face.
He had his fun. He had his fun.
Love it. So, an incredible way to announce a new edition of Warhammer 40,000. We're really excited to talk to you about that for a few minutes now. So let's start by diving into the game.
Blech.
First up, it's new Warhammer 40,000. Let's talk about the game. Eddie, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so a new edition of Warhammer 40,000 obviously means a new core engine to drive this edition. That means loads of changes to all sorts of aspects of the game. We're going to talk about some of those in a little bit. We're going to give you an idea.
They didn't do another one of those.
Changing and what it means for you in your game. But it means so much more than just the rules. It also means new cool stuff about the lore and the universe. You got a little bit of a hint of it there. We are going back to Armageddon, which is obviously one of the most important and pivotal and
give me back my Elysian.
It's just such an iconic setting for Warhammer 40,000, and we've set it up really in an interesting way with the return of Yarrick, and we're going to continue telling stories here and in other exciting places of the galaxy.
Yeah, and you got a bit of a sense of what might be happening in that cinematic as well. We are setting up in the return of Yarrick what happens before the events of this new edition. Effectively, you have the Imperial forces, the human forces of Armageddon are bracing for this enormous wave of Orcs that is bearing down on them. Wazdacker is in the lead of that, but Ghazghkull and his legions are not far behind. They signal for help, and the help comes in the form of an enormous new Space Marine crusade, which is composed of all sorts of different chapters. The Blood Angels are obviously there, but you also have lots of other ones, the Ultramarines.
So we saw Ultramarines in the video,
Yeah,
right?
Ultramarines are there as well as things like Black Templars, the Salamanders, the White Scars are there, all the classics.
So it's a classic Space Marine Crusade force returning.
It's a good old-fashioned Space Marine Crusade.
Once again to the war world. Yeah, and if you know anything about orcs, you know that the chance of a fight being bigger just brings more of them in. This is Gazgol's third run at it now. So the war that's going to hit this world is like nothing we've ever seen before.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, so in addition to talking about the setting, we should show you what the launch box looks like. This is Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon. It is a new launch box for a new edition. You can see in that artwork something quite nostalgic is happening. Anybody old enough in the room might be getting the same feeling in their heart as me. This really reminds me of my youth. Here you can see we're going to do an interesting thing with the graphic. It's a lot like the second edition of 40k to look at, but realized in fantastic, like, new artwork.
Yeah, there's some lovely little touches there that kind of nod to this original piece of artwork. Things like the heavy support Space Marine in the bottom right-hand corner, the placement of the grot, the pose of the Space Marine character, and some of the things that are happening in the background. That piece of artwork, obviously, from one of the earlier wars for Armageddon. We are going back there with the Vengeance, and the Blood Angels and Orcs are taking center stage. A couple of things to say about this box as well. We're going to tell you a little bit more about some of the things that might be in this box today. We're not going to tell you everything. Some of that will be coming later. But this is an enormously cool box with loads of new Space Marines, loads of new Orcs, and all the rules and stuff that you'll need.
Absolutely. So let's, we imagine lots of you in this room want to know a bit more about the rules and what you can expect to change in the way you play, right? You're here to play games this weekend. So let's talk a little bit about
are you
those
changing
rules.
the rules
And
to the
let's start
point
with
there's
our
new
first
books
point,
again?
which is we want to talk about that unified
overhaul
experience.
books.
Yeah, so right now in Warhammer 40,000 you have the idea of narrative play and the idea of match play, and what that's kind of meant is that we kind of have two pools of people
And never the twain shall meet.
and who play Warhammer 40,000, and what we think actually is that every game of Warhammer 40,000 should feel like a rich and immersive narrative, whether you're playing at home or you're playing at the top tables of a tournament, and every game should feel balanced and exciting, and you're never sure who's going to win. So we are sort of breaking down some of the barriers between narrative play and match play, so that generally all of your games should feel balanced, and narrative is injected into the heart of all ways to play Warhammer 40,000.
Fantastic. A lot of people will have questions about the current rules that they've got available to them, so we can maybe reassure you. At launch, your codex still works.
Oh, that's the main thing. They aren't doing
So this
the
is a really important point. In some editions
stats
of Warhammer 40,000 in the past, we have seen what's sometimes referred to as like a re-indexing of the edition.
Absolutely.
That isn't happening this time round. If you have a codex at home today on your shelf, that will continue to work until that codex
I know he
is
said
eventually
this time
replaced
around,
over
which
the normal course of
means
releases.
the
That
stuff
also
they're already working
applies
on for
to the
12th,
campaign
because
books
they
that are
start
being
way
released.
early on
So
the
if you picked up
editions.
the 500 Worlds or Maelstrom, or you're
Possibly
looking at
requires
the,
them to do
Return
that.
of Yarrick, all the rules in those will still work in the new edition.
Fantastic. If you want new ways to use the models you've got in your collection, or an excuse to get new models, there's going to be loads of new detachments coming. 70 new detachments.
Yeah, so this is really big. Right on the first day of the new edition, there will be over 70 new detachments for Warhammer 40,000 for loads of different armies, which will immediately shake up the way that you play, and give you loads of new options in terms of being able to put units on the table in fun and exciting ways. A lot of them focus on units that maybe haven't had a chance to shine in the current edition, and let you play in ways that you've never been able to put a force together before.
Yeah, it's really exciting and a really novel and interesting thing for players to sink their teeth into, right? Your codex is existent already, but there's going to be a new thing for you to get to grips with right away.
Yeah, and the detachments actually work in a slightly different way to the current detachments as well. You can continue to use your current detachments, but there will also be a different way you can put together your army. One of the advantages of the detachments, the new ones that are coming and ones we'll see in the future, is that the detachment system is now modular. So for example, if you have an army that contains Terminators and bikes,
like
you, and you wanted, I want some special rules for my bikes, but I also like some special rules for my Terminators, you can now take two smaller detachments and combine them together to create an army that works exactly as you would imagine your army should work on the tabletop.
Absolutely. And this is going to really shake things up, right? Oh, there's
So they're
some
going
applause
back
in the room.
to the
For loads of us
effectively
who've enjoyed Warhammer 40,000, what we want is to be able to
rules
sort of
from
build an army that
eight.
fits our imagination from those great stories that we've read and those iconic scenes. And this is going to enable you to do that in a way which could be quite competitively rewarding, you know, and do some really interesting things to the game.
You can pull it in a very competitive way and kind of build a
that
great combo.
did.
Completely forge the narrative, right?
It's kind of designed really to let you absolutely have your army work the way
Because
you
you
imagine it
picked
would.
your
Some of the
each
shots
unit
we saw
would
just
could be
then
from a different
on the
entire.
previous slides will give you an idea
Oh,
of
is that
some of the
nice?
detachments that might be coming,
Eh.
and some of them are fairly like specific to certain units. So, for example, there is one that lets the Emperor's Champion really shine if you've got a Black Templar's army. There is one of them that lets Cornate Demon Engines have a boost if you're picking up one of the new Defilers, for example, and you've got a Khorne army, you can make those great. There's one that's a very stealth-themed army for Tau, so you can have stealth suits and ghost kills and things like that.
Perfect. So next up, we should talk about how the fact that we've got some things to talk about with regards to objectives.
Yeah, so this
This
one
is interesting.
This one is pretty big. So right now, when you play Warhammer 40,000, scattered across your tabletop, your beautifully painted tabletop, your beautifully painted armies and your beautiful terrain are scattered some weird circles that your guys have to go and stand on. There are no more objective marker circles in games of Warhammer 40,000. Instead, your troops will be battling over pieces of terrain. Taking and putting models onto pieces of terrain will be how you take them, and it immediately changes the way that you look at taking objectives. Rather than just moving to take a circle, you are trying to take a key bunker, capture a relic,
Absolutely.
take a key position on the battlefield.
The idea is that your games will focus on the things that you imagine your soldiers doing when you're playing a game of Warhammer 40,000.
Pretty sure
I've never
that's-
once daydreamed of taking a circle. I've daydreamed of my Dark Angels storming a bastion or taking a
Fourth or
trench
fifth
work.
edition
And
that
so
had that
the,
kind of
the marker
rule,
that you saw there,
and it
imagine
got
that
really
packed with
convoluted
fantastic
because
Warhammer
of the
40,000
types of
terrain,
pieces of
and
terrain you
that's
had
the
on
thing
the
that your
table.
soldiers are going to fight and die for.
Yeah. One of the other things that's going to change in terms of missions is going to be that the detachments that you choose will dictate the types of mission that you play.
Which means they would
when
really
an army
have to
goes into
tool up
battle,
the
it
terrain
doesn't just
rules.
go out with the intent of playing pitched battle against an enemy army. It will usually have a mission. It will be assigned, you have been sent out to disrupt the enemy's plans, or to capture ground, or
just to kill as many things as
take
you
as many
can.
heads as you can. So there is a new system called Forced Disposition, which your detachments will unlock. And when you come to play a game, you and your opponent compare your forced dispositions, and that will generate the mission that you play. So if your mission is to take ground, and your opponent's mission is to take heads, you will be given a mission to play that means that both of you are trying to enact the narrative that your army brings to the table.
Really exciting. Next up, we should talk about some of the specific rule changes. The first up is that there's no more stratagem stacking.
Yes. That seems like a popular one in the room. So, right now, when you play a game of Warhammer 40,000, one of the go-to tactics is you save up all your command points and then you put them all into your best unit, and that unit becomes way better at fighting than it has any right to be, or far more durable. You have things like stacking Armor of Contempt alongside minuses to wound and decreased damage and all those sorts of things. In the new edition, you will need to choose which stratagem you would like to use on each unit per phase, and you can't have more than one. And it does all sorts of interesting stuff to the game. For example, if you have re-rolled your charge with a stratagem, you now can't use any other stratagems that turn, so you can't tank shock. If you have decided to use a stratagem to give you re-rolls to hit in combat, you don't get the chance to have another re-roll to wound on a tactical re-roll, for example.
It's going to really shake things up in an exciting way. We should also talk about a change which is going to affect, in particular, the early phase of the game, which is the ability for units to stay hidden.
Yeah, so this is a really big one, especially in terms of how you're going to deploy your armies. You cannot target an enemy unit that has not shot unless you are within 15 inches of it, if it is in a piece of terrain.
So imagine when you deploy your army, you put your Devastator squad or your Astra Militarum heavy weapon teams in a trench work or a fortification or in some ruined buildings. That scene in the movie where you look at the guys lying in ambush and staying out of sight, that's what you get on the tabletop. So you don't have to park weirdly behind terrain now. You can be in it and still get that same benefit.
Yeah, so and you get that benefit up until the point that your unit effectively joins the battle. So you can park that unit high up in the terrain feature where previously they'd have to hide, and they are safe
They
unless
better
the
make
enemy gets
special
very
rules for the
close,
big
or
ones.
until you've taken your shot.
It's going to be kind of one of those.
Next
I
up,
see giant
there's some changes
things.
to how combat works. So
Yeah.
it's been cleaned up. Eddie, can you tell us more?
So there's some big changes across the combat phase. Some subtle ones, some big ones. We'll go through some of them, but there's lots more, and you get a chance to kind of look at those when you finally get the rules in your hands.
Charge misery?
Fast dice rolling is now the standard. Most players kind of
Already do it,
do it already, but the rules are now written to assume that you're rolling all your dice for a single kind of set of attacks together, rather than kind of doing them one at a time. So that makes combat much faster. Combat activation has changed. The biggest change there is that in your turn, your strikes first units now go before your opponent. And in game terms, that means...
Ooh, there's some cheers for that
in
one.
game terms, that means if you've charged into an enemy army and they've got strikes first, at least one of your units will get to go before they go. That's quite a big change for some armies. Pile-in and consolidate now happen together. So you do all of your pile-ins for everything in your army, and then you do all of the combats, and then you do all the consolidates. And what that means is that the pile-in move becomes much more about getting lots of your units into close combat and less about trying to kind of grab extra inches towards getting objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final one is near to my heart because I like those risky charge rolls, right? But when they don't pay off, you guys stand around doing nothing. So it's different now.
It is different. So the way that charges work now is that you pick your targets after you have rolled your dice. So that does some pretty major things. So the first and most obvious thing is that if you move forward and you don't manage to get that charge against the unit you were aiming for, and there's a closer unit, you can now charge them instead. So you generally end up with less units standing around and kind of having failed the charge and not doing anything. It also means that occasionally you might get a unit into that big, long 12-inch charge that you wouldn't previously have tried, but you can now get in. So basically, this is a rule that just encourages you to get stuck into close combat. We don't like it when units move forward and then end up standing around not being able to kill stuff.
More charges, more often.
More charges, more often.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So next one, and I mentioned previously that I have a Astra Militarum Steel Legion army. They drive around in chimeras. This one's quite exciting for me. Tell us about combat disembark.
There is now a rule where if your transport is in combat with an enemy unit, you can just get out straight into combat.
Oh goody.
Small caveat, it's not always the best idea because your unit will be battle shocked and might take casualties. But it makes it very difficult to completely lock down a force that's trying to drive forward with combat units to get stuck in.
Absolutely. Next up, we should talk about the leaders and the impact they have in your games. Essentially, your leaders are always going to lead. Can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, so when you choose a model that can lead a unit, you now assign it when you build your army list. So if you have a chaplain and he's going to lead one of your units of Space Marines, you now write that in your army list rather than choosing before the game. But the thing that happens in-game is that if the unit is killed, the character keeps all the benefits of leading the unit that he would normally have. So your chaplain doesn't become inexplicably worse at combat because the guys next to him have died. And the same is true for all the different characters. So that immediately means that all of those heroes that have lost their unit can carry on being maximum heroic right up until the moment they die.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the last thing we should talk about, which connects to all of this, is there's going to be a huge refresh to the Warhammer 40,000 app.
Yeah, so the Warhammer 40,000 app has already proven to be really useful. We know loads of you use it all the time. We're going to put loads of resource and effort into it to make it an even more valuable and essential thing. There's loads of things coming for it. One of the things we can announce today is that we're going to increase language support. So right now the app is only in English. Going forwards, it will have support for English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean.
Well done remembering them all.
That's good, right? And that will start with core rules, mission rules, and combat patrol. So that's not all that's coming for the app. There's loads of other things, but this is going to be a really useful tool for all of you going forwards, regardless of what language you play Warhammer in.
Yeah, I had a chance to get told some of the cool things that are coming, and I can't reveal it yet, but it's going to be super rad. I'm very excited as a person who relies on the app for when I'm playing the game. It's very cool.
We'll have loads more about all the details of what those rules mean exactly on the Warhammer community website over the coming days and weeks.
So, we told you we'd show you maybe something from the new launch box. Would you like to see some new models? So, let's start with this.
Walker. That's a Mark 8.
So this is the first of the new Space Marine models. We're going to show you him today. He's a Space Marine intercessor, and you see the coming together of old and new in terms of armor types.
Yeah, so attrition has taken its toll on the Primaris Marines, and their shiny Tacticus armor that they went out into Crusade with has now had to be supplemented with parts of classic armor pieces. For us, though, that means that we get to use lots of very cool classic pieces like the Mark 7 helmet you can see.
It's
on
a
the
good
Space
look,
Marine.
right?
It's a good look. It's a good look. And that is the sort of thing you can look forward to going forwards. Lots of the Space Marines in this box will have elements of classic armor that you might recognize from earlier editions and earlier sets, mixed in amongst the Mark X Tacticus suits.
Yeah, absolutely. I like there's some lovely little details here. He's got the sort of the Purity Scroll style ribbon wrapped around his bolt rifle, all inscribed. The Primaris, when we first saw them, the Primaris Space Marines look quite clean cut, right? And they're increasingly blending in with.
They're getting a bit more gothic every time we see
absolutely.
them.
Absolutely. I really like it.
One of the other things to note as well about this model and all of the models in the box set is that while he looks very cool, painted as a Blood Angel, there is nothing sculpted onto that model to say it needs to be a Blood Angel. So if you have an Ultramarine, a Space Wolf, a Dark Angel,
the best
an
ones, the
Imperial
Dark
Fist,
Angels.
or flavored to taste, I guess, you can paint him as any Space Marine chapter you like.
Fantastic. Would you like to see something from the other side? Let's see an orc then. Fantastic. So this is an orc boy from the upcoming Armageddon launch box, and something's a bit different about him, right?
Yeah, so I think some of you already clocked it in the video, and obviously you can see it there on screen. In previous editions, in previous versions of the Orc box set, you had to choose whether you wanted to give your orcs a shooter or a chopper. You can now have both. No orc should leave home without a chopper, and no orc would dream of going to the battlefield without carrying the biggest gun that he can carry. So going forwards, orc boys are assumed to have whatever weapon the situation demands.
Get yourself a boy that can do both, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. So we got one more sneaky tease of things that are coming in this box right now, and that is that we can confirm for certainty there is at least one squig in the box. That went down quite well. You will need to wait a little bit longer to see the rest. Stay your disappointment. It'll be worth
want
the
a
wait, we
squig
promise.
unit like the one that
That
exists
brings us
for the
to
AOS
the end of all
orcs.
of our reveals. Did you like what you saw?
Because
I guess what we need to do now is bring this thing home and wrap up this preview. First of all, thank you so much for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. You have been amazing as an audience. We've loved being here in front of you, and your attitude and your energy has carried this through for us. So thank you all for being here.
woohoo!
We've had so much to show you. It's been really exciting. We've delved into Warhammer 40,000 and Kill Team, Horus Heresy, the Warhammer Plus TV show, all of that great stuff from the licensees, the new Mephiston. Make sure you check him out downstairs if you're here at Adepticon. Our friends at Joy with the Space Marine helmet. Underworlds, Warhammer Age of Sigmar with the incredible Cogfort, and the biggest news in years and years with a new edition of Warhammer 40,000. Eddie, what was your favourite thing in the show?
I mean, obviously I'm very excited about a new edition of Warhammer 40,000, but I am immediately going to buy a Cogfort the second it's available.
You've been giddy about that since
I have been
saw
so excited about the Cogfort.
So
I'm going to have 5.
I am completely taken with Commissar Graves and Vigilance. I need that in my life so bad. But I'm very excited about a lot of the things that we saw and showed. Right, don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the new Warhammer 40,000 official YouTube channel so you can get all of access to these videos and other videos that come out as we lead up to the launch of the new edition. What remains is to thank a bunch of people. First of all, raise some noise for the people who are hosting Adepticon, to Hank and the team for letting us come here. It's incredible to be able to feel the energy in a room like this and to talk about Warhammer. Thank you to the team who've put on the preview, all the video guys who made the videos and put all the images together, ran the tech, for persevering and making it all work. We really appreciate all of their efforts. Let them know it. Finally, Eddie and I would like to personally thank all of you for making this such a great preview. We have loved being with you for the last 2
Just
hours.
ignore the technical
Thank you so
issues.
much for making this a memorable experience. All of you in the room. We're going to leave you now. It has been a pleasure and a delight to be with you for this time. Eddie, thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Anytime.
Awesome. We will see you again very soon. Good night.
Well, that happened. Okay. Turn that down. Uh-huh. um, let's see. What do I want to launch in the fucking um, where's my... Oh, there it is. Um, I'll move it over to this one. Okay, let that launch and get these teeth painted.
It is the 41st millennium.
Mm.
For 10,000 years.
10,000 years, yay. Mm. Mm.
The tactical situation's changed. Parameters are on the mission terminal.
Why is this so dirty? Huh?
Intel retrieved from the ruins of Consora's Folly indicates that the heretics are scouring the Deadside rad zones outside the Hive. A Toman legend states that it is death to stray beyond Tertium's walls. You will be pleased to learn that this is not entirely true. Radstims will keep you alive for several minutes.
Yay, rat stems.
Time wisely.
Nope, there's no teeth on the blower. On the blower.
Crawling with heretics.
On the guy with the horn.
And perhaps others as yet unknown to us. They cannot be permitted to find what they seek. We must uncover the secrets of the sands.
Okay, got that video out of the way. I think I still have a...
Tell me, what penances have you undertaken lately?
Flash 5,000 total ammunition to allies. On target 1. Oh, that's this one. All because I want the hat! Who's your worth? Oh, it's this. Um,
Come back. Or not. It matters little.
think I finished this. Did I finish these? I think so. Yeah, completed 20 of 20. Okay. Quick play.
You're playing courier. We've got an encrypted report needs transmitting to a listening station up in the Big Black. It can't be sent from the Morning Star, so we need an alternate method. A ground-side complex dish. Said dish is on top of Archivum Sycorax, deep in contested territory. So at least you'll not be bored.
Where the hell am I?
You see anything that isn't one of us lot, you put it down.
Death is coming for you.
Lila's dead. Taxi 7-7 close. Dead hind.
do hope this ends well.
Okay, this is Old Shrine Street. One last push and you're there.
I heard something.
Surprise coming in!
Why does everything hurt?
Stay vigilant. I do not want to die because you got sloppy.
What did I do?
It is not what you do, but what you don't that concerns me.
Can't hide. You can't. Sister Prine is a welcome addition to the war band. She is a fierce orator. I'm thinking too. Oh, she I'm not afraid. I'm not. They comprehend the emotion. Good point. Half the tricks are leading the old days of afterward.
Got him.
Not the war! Move out! We're all trying to survive here. Share the ammo!
I didn't mean to. Sorry.
Advancing! Give me cover!
Main gate's locked down, so you'll have to get creative.
Together. Let's get this mission done.
Ammo cache!
Marine.
Always hated drills back when I was in the guard, but they're keeping me alive now.
Thinking gets you
I
killed.
reckon this'll get us
Don't
inside.
take it instant. No fear, no hesitation.
Yeah. Well, you don't seem to be able to turn it off.
Why should I? We are at war. Always.
Hang on.
Nice and quiet. That's better. Good work. Now you just need an elevator to get you to the upper floors.
Get away with your stupid Nurgle crap.
Close back up.
Hmm.
Interrogation rate acceptable. Do not disrupt the flow of data again.
Darn heretics!
All praise on Messiah. Uplink is restored.
No purpose. Wouldn't you agree?
For once, yes.
Very well said.
Interrogation approaching completion.
I hate tech.
Lift key updated. You may proceed aboard the elevator.
Everyone a death promise! Kill it before it clashes! Get with the unit! Enemy are dug in! Flank them! Not yet.
We've got it stray. Hang on.
This is how it's done.
My beloved says you've been very bad.
Need reload!
Have I done something to offend you? I'm sure I didn't mean to.
That Cardiff is a cheat and a liar. Knew I shouldn't have trusted her. All I'm saying is, don't play cards with her. Get clear of that barrel!
Oh, lovely. It's filling time.
Throwing my grenade!
I trust we carry vital news.
I hear that the campaign intel. Requisition levels, readiness reports, that sort of thing.
It is strange how war often turns on the smallest numbers.
Bring it, you degenerates! It's the waiting I don't like. When they're out there.
Most of war's waiting. Get used to it.
Good stuff. Get to the roof and we can bring this thing to a close.
Get back
Communicate station. Oh, good shot. Maybe not the work, but its spirit lives on. The bomber dead.
Ammo located!
Sharpshooter. My favorite part. Thank you.
Reset the breakers so Mastosi can come pick you up.
What a fun location to get swarmed.
Obliged. There's no way back up.
Transmission can't begin until you get that digitalized. Break out the data interrogators.
Oracle outside.
Data interrogation rate acceptable. Do try not to make a muddle of this task, varlets. You have somehow succeeded in resolving the issue.
Focus fire. Aye.
Your service speaks for itself, Roughneck.
I don't need you to point out my skills, witch. Enemy dug in!
Recollect. Retry. Resume.
No!
Eliminated.
Beloved, guide my aim.
Mission is still on. Tighten up.
Beloved, they are very driven, aren't they?
Data link back online. You are not a complete failure. Well done, I suppose.
A little disturbing that glows green like that.
Everyone can relax. I am here.
Woohoo! Mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
The signal's away and our report with it. I don't know who it's for. Rannick's playing things even closer than normal right now. I reckon he's taking Zola's moment of initiative harder than he pretends. He's not one to trust easily, so betrayal's cut deep. That's what comes from overthinking things. Still, at least Zola's still breathing. Doesn't always end that way with Rannick. But the war goes on and we're playing our part. That's
Okay.
what soldiers do. So hold your heads high until I call for you again, yeah?
Oh, goody. Inquisitor appearances. Mm-hmm. Oh, less than 1,000 of that to go. Oh, this weird mission. Ow!
Surprise coming in!
So many targets!
This is how it's done.
There isn't one. I got distracted by IRL situation. Great time to be distracted. Oh.
I will not forget this. The 53rd is grateful.
That was a really bad time to get distracted. Yellow might be an extreme color to use on their tongues. Oh.
Sir, you wanted to look over the plans for Slab Zone 79?
Ah, yes. I'd forgotten about that particular opportunity.
Now stick the slimy crap in it.
You're heading down into HL 7004, known as the Carnival in the local lingo. If you can't buy something there, it ain't for sale. Opians have the place on lockdown. Anyone still alive down there is either a heretic or damned by association. The local amphitheatre's a crossroads for all the district's illegal trade, including the Mobians' illicit stims. They could be connected to the Blight, so we want a sample for study.
I know stealth ain't exactly your thing, but give it a try for me, would ya? We'll scrape what we can from heretic Fox Array, but no guarantees.
I trust your silence means that our Skyfire defenses have destroyed that Valkyrie. She's vanished from the Auspex array, sir. Don't know where she went.
Sweeter than music, that means you've got a free hand. Don't waste it. You'll have to make your own entrance.
Which bit's the boomy bit again?
You know how to make an entrance, I'll give you that. Find those ciphers!
Couldn't just die in one go, could you? Mm. I think these guys are good enough at this point. It's not like it's an elaborate game. There is the game. Only thing that would be done next would be basing. Oh, that's right. They have that little mushroom on the top of their heads.
This is how it's done.
Oh!
Got a good feeling about this shot. It's not time. Not yet.
There's so much crap!
Where is your training? That hit me! Wanna make something of it? It's just getting good!
I guess that's a Cargo 6.
on it.
I'd go for virus bombs. Leave the manufactorums intact. Careful!
Safety in numbers, folks. Move up. Bring that water down. Lock that out. The Ranger.
Catching back! Ranger eliminated.
Take the point to them.
Target sighted! Contact!
Unacceptable. This is a chance of a lifetime.
Gunner sighted!
Ammo. Reload. Follow me. Ammo.
Look! Stairs!
Celerity tip.
Dead sniper!
Keep it moving. This place is a death trap.
It's a minor statement.
Sanction that music.
Let's go!
Take it.
Is it wrong that I thought that said dick bot?
Getting close to moving fire.
Shotgun!
Focus fire! Aye! Back out! Later! Heal!
Taking cover? Really? Face me in the open.
Big
New
attack!
team.
Oh!
You're at the amphitheatre. I'm updating your crypt key with the ciphers. Find the stims, get the roof opened up for Valkyrie access, and we'll send in the extraction team. Just remember, that roof's gonna make a hell of a racket, so I hope you've got your fighting trousers on. Whatever comes next, you'll do better as a group.
You always have a plan, don't you? A line of attack, a fallback position.
Fallback? Not in my vocabulary.
Combat stim!
Ammo? Radiant steel, Cadian might. Should be a good combination.
You want to be careful. Your natural modesty shining through again.
It was a simple statement of fact.
Is that right? Then why are your eyes shining like that?
Stims ID'd. On to the next phase. Sounds like you're wearing out your welcome. Pick it up, would ya?
Snipers on the hunt!
I'm bleeding.
I need to reload! Ain't no place for you!
Throwing frag grenade! Surprise coming in. Frag grenade! Kill shot ready.
Drop them all, drop them all, drop. Ow! Well, that was that. Oh, that wasn't much.
This one's for Cadia.
I'm hearing that your extraction's inbound. A good night's work. Come on.
Armor cracker!
Book it. Mm. Hmm. Mm. Paint that little shroom on top of it head.
Another bad day for Wolfer, another good day for us. He can't be happy that we've shut down his stim pipeline. He's been pulling in the big guns. You've met him already. Rodin and Rinda Karnak. Nasty pieces of work and no mistake. Crossed paths with them briefly a while back. They were mean then, and Throne knows they'll only be worse now. Still, with the stim safely undercarved by the Mobium 21st, that's another weight off my mind.
Ugh. We completed a penance. Ooh, a couple of them. $65 more to go. Oh, because I haven't actually completed something on that difficulty. I can't go to the next level. Well, then we'll fix that. And I realized I need to put a second layer of yellow.
Seeing as how you're new at this, I reckon the best thing to do is throw you in at the deep end, so enjoy it. The heretics control the bulk of the transit mover network running through Chasm Station, moving supplies, personnel, the works. You're gonna redirect a train carrying an arch heretic and ambush him on the platform. Got it?
Oh, the literal first mission of the game.
One random heretic, nothing changes. Kill 1,000 random heretics, raises a smile, but that's it. But kill the right one, it brings their operations to a screaming halt for a bit. We can use that. First up, head for the marketplace. You can splice into the train scheduler from there. We don't generally go in by the front door. Case in point, you'll need to use the ventilation tunnels to reach the market.
Sever the head, the body dies.
Practice more! Target!
Everyone is guilty of something. All imposters know that. What can you say? Your conscience is clean.
A conscience! Luxury!
Use the terminal to get back in the dark!
If that's the maintenance bay, you're on the right track. Keep it moving. Work as a team and you'll pull through.
Freaking plague ridden. Oh!
Throwing crack grenades! Just inside clear of the funnel!
Stairs here. We have a job to do. Let's get out there and carking do it.
Shotgunner! Action now!
Pressure airlocks help the hive maintain integrity in the event of a disaster. I can't clear you to proceed unless you're all in position.
When Cadia fails,
Right as I stemmed.
Interrogators, red line. Fix it.
I got thrown into the horde.
The machine is corrupted. Find everything in this place. Soldier needs cover now!
You're almost done.
Beware! Powers you so piercing the outsider! Grievous error! Resist, select!
At last. Get the revised schedule uploaded and hope we can make up for lost time. Right. That's the easy part done. Chasm Terminus and our unlucky arch heretic. In case you were wondering, so far I'm not impressed. Not one of you know Opus would last a day on Armageddon. Lucky for you, Atomic is a much softer villain. With a bit of luck, you might last long enough to be useful. Can't you go any faster? We're going to have to toughen you up.
What a fun horde of crap.
Catechize the station. If they'd done their job right, they'd have weeded out the heretics before this went sideways. It always falls to the soldiers to clean up other folks' mess. Fancy you, I guess. There's Chasm Station. Get yourselves inside.
Heal up! Now! We must restore Atoma's perfect lex. Else fail the Judge of Terra. That's what we have been trying to do. Not?
The fun part. Ow. Well, that's a fun spot that everyone knocked down in.
Thoughts. Block them out. Focus on what is real. They are real to me. As visceral as blood and pain.
All the more reason to block them out.
Keep going. You're on the wrong side of the station.
You want ammo? Find your own.
Last chance, but the main event's still to come. I hope you're ready to fight.
Now that's how it's done, Provost! I fight as I was trained! Understand unusually foul!
Death's just around the corner. Let's ambush it.
I found that a will to live is in fact conducive to continued survival. Crack out!
Well, that one did not live very well.
That's the platform elevator, so get down there and end this. You can't take the target one-on-one, so work together. Teamwork, got it?
Combat them! Ratifying. Against Trapper! Trapper incoming! Go there!
Like, dude, everyone's got everything.
Got a good feeling about this shot.
Back up and in the fight, soldier!
Sanction redactors target identified. Make a call of it. It's not over till they're dead.
This is how it's done.
Well, that was fast. Balls!
Adepticon down in the dust has thrown the occupation of Chasm Station into disarray. Breaks my heart. Vanguard elements of the Mobian 21st are moving in even as we speak. As for you, seeing as you're still breathing, Explicator Zola wants a word.
Yay, more penance. Oh, it's almost there. That's maxed out. Upgrade that gun!
Attention, varlets. The heretics have waylaid a cargo train at Manufactorum HL 1736. This train holds a special consignment pertaining to matters you would not understand, and that I do not care to explain. Your task is to secure the train and forget that you ever undertook this mission. If you do not do so voluntarily, I'm sure that Stephanie will oblige.
I seem to have forgotten authorizing this mission. Alas, heavy hangs the head of Ivan Rannick.
This mission is governed by the Pax Mechanicus and by immutable concords inscribed in the Logistratex Machinarium.
Poetry. Sheer poetry. The things you do to otherwise ordinary words. But I suppose you may proceed.
As you will, so shall it be done. Strike team to proceed to Production Nexus. Now.
I better move. Oh, there's like no combat for a good distance at the start. Well, that sucks.
Never leave a soldier behind! Loyalty and honor, you have none!
Pretty sure there's no way back up there.
Come to mine ears that there is a growing discontent among opponents of the palace. They disapprove of how the Lord Margrave has managed the crisis.
Firebrand shame!
Yeah, uh-huh.
I am ready to burn!
It's amazing how much a wash does for things. They're almost here.
Retrieval needed! Another dead rager! Another victory for the left! Minor is one life! Throwing grenade!
Your grenades are kind of missing.
On your feet! Now! Hear my decree! I order you
Thy wrath
to
is
end
nothing
this!
when set against hate. You Goldilocks should be taking lessons from me.
No!
You don't trust me, do you?
I only trust real soldiers. They are dug in!
Gunner, repeat them.
Care to give me a clue as to what you're looking for, Hadron? A tiny hint, perhaps, to enliven the didactic sentence?
This matter is of techno-archaeological interest. More, I cannot say.
Very well. If your secret gives you pleasure.
Not a shotgun.
with me. Always. Had no surprise coming in. Yeah, ammunition conscript. Ammo. Just as Texas my gun is worth 5. Slain. Time to count the ammo and offer our prayers.
Perilous! Let our praises bring us out across this benighted world!
Major falls.
Templar! We've got a ranger! Another rabid heretic! A kill's a kill! No need to get all showy! Scoundrel! It's fit to be given thanks to the master! Hogswalkers!
So, this prize you seek, is it large, small, valuable?
A veil of ignorance does not suit
Ow.
the interrogator. Moreover, it is full of holes.
So much for polite, respectful authority. It would appear that one of the three will have to go.
Hand incoming! On your feet, soldier!
Don't rub it in, okay? The beast slabbers no more! On we go! Into the carking fire as usual!
The door is uncooperative. Use magic box to make it more amenable.
Magic box? Really?
An apothecarian, if any aren't so weak to require it. Do you seem to? Glorious day! A trappery!
Data interrogation rate acceptable.
A worthy shot!
Payback! Found your next target and shoot, soldier!
I distended spectrum burn!
Your incompetence is showing. Interrogator requires a reboot.
A Tux flamer!
All praise the Omnissiah. Uplink is restored.
Freaking plague ridden!
System is free. Uplink resumed. As you were. Data
Drop that. Why am I always hit by the mutie? It's always the mutie.
I shall smite thee, gunner!
I don't know. Maybe, if a regiment will have me.
I will scribe a recommendation for you, if it will be your choice. Die, Ranger, in the name of the light! Grenade!
The consignment yard is close. Guard your competence, varlets.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Switch marks! Bleeding!
Cadius ghost!
Bob down! Without me, you'll be dead in minutes!
Ah, yes indeed. Alex provides in great abundance.
Sharp kill, soldier!
Master, grant me strength!
Fighting! Now you're showing your steel, bravo!
I thought that I was dead.
If the reinforcements arrive not, it is down to thy simple nature.
Reclamation Strike Force Beta 5 are already in the air.
Thy methods are unconventional, Templar, but effective all the same.
It's war, ain't it? No point following the rules if it leaves you gasping.
Alas, scripture is less forgiving. I fear there are no grey areas when it cometh to matters of faith.
shut down those Skyfire defenses.
Eliminating targets. You're not dead, so get moving. Seven ahead, the body dies. Beacon operational.
Objectives are now complete. Survival should now concern you.
Ammo Christ. Crack out. Shot on target. The Emperor demands death, and I answer.
My blood!
It's only pain.
Ow!
Get me back up on the line.
Templar! Thou yet hast war to fight and souls to slay!
Taking me from our grave, priest. Assistance! Now!
Purge nearing completion. At last.
I'm guessing something big is about to show up. Yup!
You are still alive. More importantly, the train remains intact. I will order that you are extracted, not liquidated.
I'll have the prize transferred to suitable things. We shall then discuss the matter further.
Treat your wounds, conscript.
Immolation grenade!
Alex has found you.
One shot, one kill.
I'm thinking that person might be a bit of one of those that might throw use the portable hell bomb inside the shuttle. Because that's pretty close to what they're just doing. Isn't it just amazing what just putting a wash on them does?
I am told that careful use of compliments is an aid to morale. With that in mind, I am pleased to impart the knowledge that your performance was not as woeful as I might have otherwise expected. Am I doing it right? It is so hard to tell. No matter. Interrogator Rannick wishes to have one of his interminable conversations. Be gone. Should you seek additional training before your next deployment, Stephanie has begun a new initiative in the meat grinder.
A new meat grinder.
Have you been meddling with my terminal, Adron? I warned you about that.
I am quite sure I don't know what you're talking.
That one didn't go up as far.
Speak quickly or not at all.
Oh yeah. If I had another person. Mm. Bloop. Anyway. That's good enough. Shorter stream. So, well, I gotta do that before that gets clipped, bro. But okay, so probably on tomorrow. I don't know when. Um, I might start painting some of the other snotties, or I might paint it as something else. I don't know. Could just be straight gaming. We'll find out. If you were here, thank you for being here, that kind of thing. And then let's see where we can go. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Look at that. Let's see what we got. Hmm. Um. Okay, none of the ones I'm following are things. So let's make a category search, shall we? I love the people that have the tag and aren't doing anything with it. Well, okay, so I'm technically doing that sometimes too. But um, Eh. Okay. I will catch people a different time.